Hey y'all, and welcome to Shadow Space, and we are commenting on another BCP video. This is called Trump Deranged RINO Copes and Seethes After Defeated in Landslide Election for Supporting Impeachment. This was uploaded May 17th. This is being recorded May 18th, and links in the description.
The Constitution in our country is more important than any one person. I voted to convict President Trump because he is guilty.
I don't know how I feel about that statement. That he would gladly sacrifice one person so that the Constitution could remain, even though people are like, think the Constitution needs to be reformed. If you truly believe that the Constitution needs to be reformed, then in a way, what you're saying is that you want the Constitution that we have to be thrown out, parts of it to be thrown out and be rewritten. So you would sacrifice people over a document that if you wanted to, you could shred the whole thing in half and just start over again.
2 years later.
It's
I always
official.
get confused.
NBC News has now declared that the second spot in the June 27th Republican Senate runoff in Louisiana will go to State Treasurer John Fleming. So the runoff now is set. Congresswoman Julia Letlow, State Treasurer John Fleming, and that means that Senator Bill Cassidy, two-term Republican incumbent senator who voted to convict Donald Trump in his second impeachment trial in January of 2021, has been defeated. He will be denied renomination, and he will become the first sitting Republican senator, elected Republican senator since 2012, to lose a primary, to be denied renomination by his party. Again, Letlow clearly leading here tonight. Fleming, though, now safely, securely in second place here. Cassidy in third. The runoff set for June 27th.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about yet again another landslide defeat for an anti-Trump Republican. Because apparently President Trump still has an iron grip over the Republican Party. The electorate tends to agree with the president that his agenda must be protected. And any Republican that tries to get in the way of his agenda on behalf of Democrats has to go. They're getting voted out left and right. We just saw what happened in Indiana with the Republicans that refused to redistrict. The voters decided that, hey, we agree with the president that you should have redistricted, right? You should have drew out the blue seats, right? The same way that, Democrats are drawing out red seats in their states. Yeah, we should have gave them a taste of their own medicine. You're not cut out for this battle that we're currently in against the Democrats, right? The voters spoke. Okay?
Because it is a war after all.
Once again, we have the voters speaking loudly about how they feel about the president, okay? As you have Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, a sitting senator, getting absolutely crushed in his primary, mainly due to the fact that he is anti-Trump. He actually voted to convict Trump after January 6th. And here is Bill Cassidy trying to explain his vote to Fox News.
People want to trust. They want to trust their leaders. They want people to be held accountable. Now, I'm attempting to hold President Trump accountable. And that is the trust I have from the people that elected me. And I am very confident that as time passes, people will move to that position.
So you think you'll eventually represent a majority view in Louisiana?
Number one, I think I may already represent a majority view.
Do you think he can run a credible campaign for president again? Will he remain a force in the Republican Party? What does that mean for the Republican Party?
I think as force wanes, the Republican Party is more than just one person.
And I'll continue to be loyal, working with whoever I can so that the people I represent have a better life. You can say whatever you want. no one can doubt I have the courage of my convictions.
Whoa.
Party is more than just one person.
And I'll continue to be loyal, working with whoever I can so that the people I represent have a better life. You can say whatever you want. No one can doubt I have the courage of my convictions, that I'm working for the future of my state and the future of my country. I'm incredibly proud of that.
Chairman Jason Chaffetz, you and I got to serve in the Congress for a little while, but my question for you is still about Donald Trump. I mean, knowing what you know now about the farce that was put forward to the American people and the Congress, knowing what you know now, would you still vote to actually convict Donald Trump of the charges that he was put up for?
Reporters always love to ask that question. I'm a doctor. You give me all the information I can, I make a decision, I move on. I don't keep on going back, oh, what happened 5 years ago? I'm thinking about what's going to happen 5 years from now.
With all due respect,
or tonight.
But you do take a patient's medical history into account.
Hang on, Jason. Let me finish, Jason.
You just touted everything you've done for the last 5 years. Why can't you answer that question? Did you or did you not?
Hey, Jason,
knowing
if I
what
can
you
finish,
know now,
Jason,
no,
if I
want you to answer that question. Would you or would you not actually vote to?
People are talking about impeachment. I hear rumblings of it. They're definitely thinking about it. If there was some sort of Democrat bandwagon to get some sort of impeachment charge in the Senate, what would you do?
Convict, knowing what you know now. It's a simple question.
Yeah, Jason, you may go back and flagellate yourself over decisions in the past. I do not. I move on. By the way, what I'm talking about is not just the present, it is the future. By the way, the future also includes that if somebody wants somebody working for the state of Louisiana for the future, not fixated on the past, then polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. Get out there and vote. But by the way, I will.
Yeah. But here's the problem, though, Bill Cassidy. What you did in the past is probably an indication of what you would do in the future, right? And you're running for re-election. We can't judge you based on what you might do in the future. We have to judge you based on what you did in the past, right? Did you do things in the past that warrant you being re-elected, right? Or did you do things that warrant you not being re-elected? And again, the voters decided that they do care about the past, right? They do care about the fact that you voted to convict the president, and that's why he got voted out. So without further ado, let's get into it, because he's not the last Republican on the chopping block here.
And we start in Louisiana.
No, I
that
imagine
is where
not.
the biggest defeat of the primary election cycle unfolded last night. The politician, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, the vote was decisive. In a three-way race within the GOP, the two-term senator came in last. Moving on, however, is President Trump's hand-picked candidate for that seat, Congresswoman Julia Letlow. News Nation's Marcus Espinoza is here. Marcus, good morning.
Good morning.
This isn't much of a surprise, but I think the shocking part is that an incumbent senator who was in office for 8 years came in last.
This has not happened to a Republican since 2012.
Wow.
In this particular instance, So this was a big deal, a major political shakeup in Louisiana. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy losing his GOP primary bid, failing to even make the runoff after a brutal challenge backed by President Trump. Congresswoman and Trump-endorsed Julia Letlow, who had President Trump's endorsement, finished first with about 45% of the vote. State Treasurer John Fleming came in second. Cassidy finished a distant third, ending his re-election campaign. Trump celebrated the result, of course, on Truth Social, writing that Cassidy's campaign. Trump
See, and this is the problem. This is what I talk about. She got 44.84% of the vote. Okay. He got 28.28%. He got 24.80. So, if you add these two together, you get 4 and 8 is 12. You get 52. And the decimal, 53. 53.08. So, technically, yes, she got most of the votes. But she did not get a majority. The majority of the votes were split between these two. she did not win with a majority of the votes. She won with she won with the majority of the votes. She did not win the majority in Louisiana.
Celebrated the result, of course, on Truth Social, writing that Cassidy's political career is over.
It's why having two parties is more even, because it's a 50-50 split. One of them has to get more votes than the other. There has to be a clear defining winner between the two of them. Otherwise, you get this. Can you truly say that she won with a majority when she didn't actually get 50% of the vote?
After years of attacking him for voting to convict
because
Trump following...
arguably what that means is that 53.08% of the people in Louisiana voted against her. By that metric, she should have lost. She should lose.
January 6th, Letlow thanked Trump during her victory remarks.
But because 44 is higher than either 28 or 24, she wins.
Win for the America First movement, while Cassidy acknowledged
the loss. This is what I was trying to explain, which I know I probably did a horrendous job of in that other video, with the Democrats in California. There are two spots, so the two people at the top are going to get those spots. Whoever it is, doesn't matter. The Democrats have split that entire ticket between all 6 of them. Like, the Republicans had their 2 spots. If they get it, then it will just be those 2 alone. There are 6 of them. That heavily dilutes all of the voting power.
And thank supporters.
I've had the privilege of representing the state of Louisiana for 12 years. I've been able to participate in democracy. And when you participate in democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But you don't pout, you don't whine, you don't claim the election was stolen.
As a fictional...
Well, I mean, with the margins that this guy lost, there's no room for him to claim that it was stolen, right?
Well,
I mean, this dude...
See, no. Why? You can't just say that it was stolen because you lost. Either it was, or it wasn't. Either you have to trust the results of the election, or you don't. Either you can appeal every time you lose, or you can't. Like, you either have to trust the system and that it works, even if it works against you, or you can't trust it. In which case, something has to be done to change it. Something has to happen.
Absolutely mollywopped, okay?
Or not, I guess.
Place. And again, that's the shocking part about it, right? It's one thing if it was very close, if it was tight, right? You're talking about a 3-way race, and this guy came in last, okay? The voters said we would prefer basically anybody over this guy, and you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what they said. I don't know.
At the end of the day, people can say what they want, but it's up to the voters. The voters decided that they didn't like the fact that this guy went anti-Trump. He voted to convict Trump. He aligned with the Democrat Party. Yeah, we have zero tolerance for this, right? We have zero tolerance for traitors, right? I mean, that's just what it is at this point.
Anchorman once said that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. The result is being viewed...
I don't know. You'd really have to ask the people who voted for him and the other guy and ask them why they voted for them over the other lady. I don't know any of their names.
As another sign of Trump's continued hold over Republican primaries, especially against GOP lawmakers who have broken with him, and there's still more.
I know nothing about Louisiana politics. I don't know who these people are.
Delayed as the state continues to deal with redistricting challenges after a court fight over congressional.
This is the great thing about the internet is I do now.
Map, so more to come.
A lot more to come, especially on Tuesday, where much of the country will also see primaries.
Oh my gosh, so many more across the country. Tuesday is a big day, 2026, right? You got midterms down the way, but there's still a lot more going on here. Polls with voters heading to the polls in 6 states: Alabama, Georgia, Idaho, Kentucky, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. Several of those races already drawing national attention, including in Kentucky, where President Trump is escalating his attacks on Congressman Thomas Macy. Trump posting this week that Macy is, quote, the worst and most unreliable Republican congressman, urging Kentucky voters to get this loser out of politics in Tuesday's primary. And look even further ahead, Trump is also weighing in on other high-profile Republican races, including praising Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert while warning potential primary challengers against running against her. So Tuesday could offer another major test of just how much influence Trump still holds inside.
I don't know. See, I don't know.
The Republican Party heading into those midterms I mentioned. And then, Henna, a couple things on Cassidy.
Yeah.
$30 million he spent just on this, right? Not even to make it out of that primary into the runoff there. And then the fact that his opponent 4 months ago got into this race.
Yeah,
now he's out.
I have no doubt that President Trump will be posting more on Truth Social. He usually does around 8:30 on Sundays.
Yeah, I think that this guy got it wrong about Lauren Boebert, right? I'm pretty sure that Trump called for her to be primary too. In fact, here's the post, right? You have the president basically saying that Boebert should be primary because she's campaigning with Thomas Massey. So again, everybody can see what's happening here.
News overnight. Senator Bill Cassidy losing his primary in Louisiana. You worked closely with Senator Bill Cassidy on a range of different issues, including a plan to replace Obamacare. He, of course, voted to convict President Trump back in 2021 in the impeachment trial. Now he's lost his seat. Are you glad that Senator Cassidy is no longer going to be your colleague, Senator?
No, I like Bill. I thought he's a great senator, but he made a political decision. He voted to impeach President Trump, which would have ruined his political life. He could never run for office again. Massey's on the ballot Tuesday. He votes against Trump all the time. What's the headline? Trump strong. Those who try to destroy Trump politically, stand in the way of his agenda, are going to lose. Bill made a decision. What would LBJ do? Is it natural for a politician to go after people who try to destroy their political life? So Bill Cassidy's lost because he tried to destroy Trump. Massey's going to lose because he's trying to destroy the agenda. You can disagree with President Trump, but if you try to destroy him, you're going to lose because this is the party of Donald Trump.
Very quickly, does his defeat send a message, if this is the party of Donald Trump, that there's no room in the party to break with President Trump?
No, I just talked to him a few minutes ago. We have a difference.
President Trump, you talked to him.
just a few minutes ago. There's no room in this party to destroy his agenda or to destroy him and his family as a Republican. Democrats do it all the time. If you align with Democrats to stop his agenda like Massey does, you're going to lose. If you align with Democrats to drive him out of office like Cassidy did, you're going to lose. I disagree with Trump on President Trump on occasion. He endorsed me. It's been enormously helpful to me. Thank you, President Trump, for endorsing me. It's helped me in my primary. It's just a reality, and it's a good reality. I think President Trump's doing a hell of a good job, and if you try to destroy him, you're going to get destroyed. That's the takeaway.
All right, Senator Lindsey Graham, thank you so much for being here in person to discuss a very busy week. We really appreciate it. When we come back, Democrats.
Yeah, so
the
it ain't
takeaway,
for Thomas Massey,
don't try to destroy people.
Polls that have come out recently, and the betting odds.
I feel like we shouldn't have to say that, but we do.
His
so
here, Ed Gowron.
That's good, I guess.
He's currently beating Massey by 7 points. You still have 9% undecided. We're gonna see what happens, but when you look at the betting markets, as you can see here, his opponent has a 53% chance of winning. Massey has a 48% chance. Again, it's not a shoe-in, right? It's not a lock that Massey's going to lose, but at the same time, it's not looking good for him. Now, I mean, what is the takeaway here? Again, the takeaway really is that, ultimately, the voters decide this stuff, right? Let's be real. There are a lot of people on the black pill right that are going to boo-hoo whine and cry about, oh, Trump, yada, 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 this, that, and the other, but it's the voters, right? Trump is not voting.
Well,
the voters are saying.
either Republicans support him or they don't.
Hey, we agree with the president that you shouldn't be in office because you personally tried to take down the president, right? Especially in the case of Thomas Massie, who I like, right? I like Thomas Massie, but at the same time, I do think that the political decision to get on board with the Epstein stuff in a way that really, I mean, obviously was about attacking the president more so than it was about protecting the victims, right? I don't think that any of these individuals, whether it be Democrats, whether it be a vast majority of the Republicans that got on board with the Epstein stuff,
started on Epstein.
I don't think that they actually cared about the victims.
He's not
right?
worth
I think
it.
It was a political stunt designed to go after the president, to smear the president, and Thomas Massie participating in that. Right, the voters are going to decide whether or not they thought that that was appropriate, right? And it is what it is. Whether it doesn't matter what I think about Thomas Massie, whether or not I like him or dislike, it doesn't matter. What matters is the voters, right? The voters are saying that, hey, we don't want a guy like this that's going to undermine the president, right? It's one thing to want disclosure and to push for disclosure simply because you really want justice for the victims. It's another to do it because you just want to smear the president. That is what Thomas Massie was doing, and it is super obvious that's what him and Rocano was doing. And again, the voters are going to decide, right? They're going to decide. I like Massie. I preferably would like to see people like him in Congress. But I think some of the political decisions that he made, specifically around the Epstein stuff, is probably what is going to lead to his defeat if he's actually defeated. And if he is defeated, that will be a major, major, major blow for the Black Pill right. Okay, if Massie is defeated, the Black Pill right, it basically will show that the Black Pill right does not have any real juice, right? In real life, in regards to how people vote, they don't have the juice, right? They got some juice, but they don't have as much juice as they think in order to actually win elections, right? Or put it this way, to keep incumbents in power, because the easiest thing to do is to keep incumbents in power, right? Somebody that's already sitting in power is much easier to keep them in power than it is to get somebody else in power. And if they can't keep Massie in power, right, it should tell you everything you need to know about how much influence the Black Pill right actually has in this movement. Because again, the voters have spoken, and they're not just speaking in Massie's race. They spoke out in Indiana. They spoke with Bill Cassidy, right? They're speaking. They're saying, we don't tolerate this. We don't tolerate attempts by Republicans to undermine the president in ways that are unacceptable, right? It's one thing to have, simple policy disagreements. It's another to launch personal vendettas against the president, and again, to try to go after him, to have him smeared as a pedophile or a rapist, or all these things that they've smeared the president as. Again, those are two different things. I think if Massie would have just kept it at policy disagreements, right, whatever that may be, okay, I think he'd be fine. But I think because he tried to make it personal with the Epstein stuff, just like Bill Cassidy voting to convict the president, basically to make it impossible for him to run for president again. If Bill Cassidy had his way, President Trump wouldn't be in office right now, right? So those things are unforgivable. And again, it's not Trump, it's the voters. It's up to the voters to decide,
I mean,
right?
That was the plan, was to get him in jail so he couldn't run again.
And the voters are speaking. The voters are telling who they're siding with. So the Black Pill right is going to be very, very, very upset. But they can't really be upset with Trump because it's the voters who are deciding this stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
I don't know. I mean, yes, that's true. But again, we have a situation where I guess +7, depending on how this +7 turned out. Just 42 and 9 is 51. But this +7 would be 56, so that doesn't matter if that actually happens. But if it stands at 49 and these numbers are still what they are, then he still loses. They still lose. But they win. I don't know. I mean, at this point, the whole union is so fractured. I don't think any of this really matters. This all seems kind of a little pedantic, kind of.